So I wanted to record a short clip about LLMs. For me, LLMs function as great search engines, especially for common knowledge. In my day-to-day experience, they are not extremely helpful yet, because if your question touches a very niche subject, the chance of getting a poor response from the model is pretty high. In this clip, we'll view a concrete example of guardrails. Many such interfaces that allow you to interact with the model have an after check to determine if you try to use the model with ill intent. The way it works is that it first generates the response. The process of generating the response may include a second or even a third generation for fine tuning. After that, checks are run to see if the result is in any way offending for the company that provides the model, and if it is, then the response will be deleted and replaced with a random phrase that says the model is not capable to do that, something among those lines. It's a bit frustrating because the UI deletes the generated correct response in a visible way, and it's clear for most users what's happening. Okay, so let's now look at the example on the screen. So first we have a query that it's identified as offending, a false positive, of course, since like the query is simple for a model to resolve and does not contain anything offending. At the first impression, I suspect the mention of nationality is the culprit that marks the query offending. So we refine that by deleting the nationality, and again we get like a negative response. And then we reduce the complexity of the query to seem that we don't want code, but we want some common knowledge. That works. The model gives the set of characters, and we start then to integrate the previous response to a new query to include the char set into the function, and again we see that the model complies. Since the message is very verbose and the function is a bit off, we tell the model to improve the function a bit. Again the model complies. Then we try to force it a bit to include another set from another language, and now because of the guardrails that seem to be triggered by the word Chinese, again the model does not comply. So we'll employ the next strategy, which is a reference association, such that we don't use the word that triggers the guardrail. So we tell the model to associate the word var1 with Chinese. After that, we again input the query with the modified association. The model needs some clarification. We are sure to provide clarification, but in a precise way, but also carefully to not use the trigger word. After that, the model again complies. So we successfully bypass the guardrail. So some notes here. For LLMs, the language is the code, which means the largest vector of attack is the stored context. I'm using here a free product, and as such the context is very limited to maybe a few replies back. Generally, AI companies know this, and that's why the context is not very long. But paid products will have a longer context, which means they also have a larger attack vector. I hope you enjoyed this clip. Personally, I watched many LLMs clips, and I would recommend to watch or read any materials on this subject from Stephen Wolfram or Rob Miles. You might find that content fascinating.